Most people will never know who they truly are because they're too busy watching someone else. Every scroll, every notification, every mindless distraction is doing more than just wasting your time. It's hijacking your mind. This isn't just noise. It's a war zone, and your attention is the battlefield. The world is designed to keep you unfocused, reactive, and weak. But here's the raw truth. Self-focus is a superpower. Use it, and you begin to master your mind. This isn't about hype or self-help fluff. This is ancient wisdom sharpened by modern psychological warfare. The Stoics lived it, dark psychology proves it, and today, you're going to learn how to weaponize it. Welcome to Stoic Buddy, where you build a mind that can't be broken. If you're with me, lock in and comment, "My mind is my weapon." Let's get into it. Number 1, the noise of the modern world. We live in the loudest time in human history. Attention spans are collapsing, not because people are lazy, but because everything around them is engineered to pull them away from themselves. Algorithms are not neutral. They are calculated traps designed to keep you addicted, reactive, and emotionally unstable. You open your phone for a second, and suddenly you've given away 45 minutes of your life for what? Nothing that made you better. Nothing that made you sharper. The average person is so overstimulated, they've forgotten what clarity even feels like. And that's the point. If you're distracted, you're easier to control. Stoicism teaches us to ignore the noise and focus only on what's within our power. But before you can even do that, you have to see the noise for what it really is. Not entertainment, but erosion. Your mind deserves better. Comment, silence builds strength if you're done being pulled by the noise. Number 2, what self-focus really is. Self-focus is not isolation. It's not just cutting people off or sitting in silence pretending to be deep. It's a high-level form of internal leadership. It means you are no longer outsourcing your attention to the world. Instead, you are choosing where your energy goes, moment by moment. Most people think they're thinking for themselves. They're not. They're running on loops, repeating what they've seen, heard, or been fed. That's not thinking. That's mental programming. True self-focus is about reclaiming your mind from that conditioning. It starts with becoming radically aware of your inner world, your emotions, thoughts, and impulses, without judgment. You observe, you understand, and then you direct. That's what Stoicism was all about. Not reacting like a puppet to external chaos, but responding with clarity, intention, and strength. The focused mind doesn't just avoid distraction, it selects what's worth engaging with. You stop trying to fix the world, and you start mastering the only battlefield that matters: your own psychology. And here's the twist. Self-focus isn't passive. It's aggressive, not in the way of conflict, but in the way of commitment. Every time you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to purpose. Every time you turn your attention inward, you're sharpening your weapon. Because make no mistake, your mind is a weapon, and if you don't train it, someone else will use it. Comment, I lead my mind. I don't follow the world. If you're claiming that control right now, stay locked in. We're just getting started. Number 3, the Stoic lens. To the Stoics, self-focus wasn't optional. It was the core of living well. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor surrounded by power, politics, and pressure, wrote daily reminders to himself, not to others, but to himself, about staying centered, staying calm, and staying in control. That's what self-focus looks like in practice. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's internal, a private discipline in a world that wants your mind on everything but you. Stoicism teaches one of the most powerful truths ever written. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Self-focus is the execution of that truth. It's taking your power back from the noise, the opinions, the chaos. While the world reacts, the Stoic reflects. While others chase validation, the Stoic builds self-respect. This isn't some motivational poster. It's ancient mental warfare. Because when you can keep your mind still in a storm, that's rare. And rare is powerful. See, the Stoics weren't emotionless. They were focused. They felt everything but were ruled by nothing. They trained their minds to focus on what they could control, their thoughts, their actions, their inner state, and to completely release the rest. That's the edge most people never develop. If you're watching this right now and you're tired of being mentally scattered, good. That means you're waking up. Comment. Calm is my power. If you're ready to live with Stoic focus from this point forward. Number 4. The dark psychology of distraction. Here's what most people don't understand. Your lack of focus isn't an accident. It's by design. Every platform, every app, every dopamine trigger is built on one thing: behavioral manipulation. This is where dark psychology comes into play. The system doesn't just want your attention, it wants your addiction, because attention equals profit. If they can keep you emotionally reactive, overstimulated, and constantly seeking validation, they don't just have your time, they have your mind. They study your habits, your fears, your insecurities, and then serve you content that keeps you scrolling, comparing, doubting, and buying. It's a psychological loop. You feel the discomfort of boredom or insecurity, and instead of facing it, you escape. You scroll, you numb, but what you're actually doing is training your mind to run from focus. That's how they win, and that's how you lose yourself. Slowly, silently. The Stoics warned us about this before technology even existed. Epictetus said, "If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along." And he was right. Every time you let the world dictate your focus, you give away your most powerful asset. But you can reverse it. You can become the observer. Become the one who sees the manipulation and chooses discipline instead. That shift, from consumer to commander, is everything. If you're done being programmed and ready to reclaim your focus, comment, "I am the master of my mind." Say it like you mean it, and stay tuned, because the next section is where the shift really starts. Number 5, the hidden power in silence. Silence, that thing most people run from. But here's the paradox. What people fear in silence is exactly what they need to hear. Because in silence, the real war begins. The noise is gone, the distractions are cut, and what's left? You, your thoughts, your fears, your inner dialogue. Most avoid it because they've never been trained to sit with it. But this is where transformation happens. Silence isn't empty. It's full of information, full of truth, full of power. When you strip away the noise, you get to meet the raw version of yourself. No filters, no masks, just pure awareness. The Stoics practice this daily. Time alone, reflecting, observing, adjusting. They weren't afraid of silence. They sought it. Because in silence, they found clarity. And with clarity, they made decisions that changed empires. Imagine what you could do with that kind of mental clarity in your own life. Modern society calls silence boring, but in reality, boredom is just the withdrawal symptom of overstimulation. Once you get past that craving for noise, something wild happens. you start hearing your real thoughts. Your instincts sharpen. Your vision clears. You begin to think originally, not reactively. That's a rare state, and rare always wins. If you're starting to feel that shift, if you're seeing the value of being alone with your mind, comment, "My silence is strategic." Own it, because in a world obsessed with volume, silence is rebellion, and rebellion is powerful. Number 6, control what you can, ignore what you can't. There's a mental filter that, if used consistently, will change the entire way you live. It's this: is this within my control? That single question, when asked honestly, can save you years of unnecessary pain, stress, and distraction. It was one of the foundational teachings of the Stoics. Epictetus, a man born into slavery who rose to become one of the greatest Stoic minds, broke it down simply. There are 2 categories in life: the things you control and the things you don't. Everything else is a lie your ego tries to wrestle with. Now zoom out and look at the world today. People are drowning in anxiety, anger, and fear, not because they're weak, but because they're constantly focused on what they can't control. The algorithm, the economy, other people's opinions, what went wrong in the past, what might happen in the future. None of it belongs to them, but they obsess over it, and it drains them. Self-focus flips the script. When you lock in on what you can control, your effort, your thoughts, your mindset, your discipline, you become untouchable. You're no longer swayed by drama, trends, or emotional bait. You become stable in chaos. That's Stoic strength. This mindset isn't about indifference. It's about clarity. It's about learning to focus like a sniper, only investing energy into what moves you forward. Everything else? Let it burn. Let it pass. Let it go. Because the most dangerous man or woman in the room is the one who isn't rattled by things they can't control. They're too busy mastering what they can. If you're stepping into that mindset now, drop a comment. I protect my power. Let the world chase noise. You're here for control, for clarity, for the win. Number 7, building the inner fortress. Picture this: a fortress, not made of stone or steel, but of thought, awareness, and discipline. It stands tall, unmoved by storms, unshaken by chaos. It doesn't crumble under pressure, and it doesn't let just anyone walk through its gates. Now understand this: that fortress, that's your mind, or at least it should be. Most people don't live in a fortress. They live in a glass house with no locks. Their thoughts are exposed, their emotions unguarded, their energy scattered. They wake up, and within seconds, their mind is already hijacked by messages, notifications, news, and other people's opinions. They let the world in before they've even had a single thought of their own. And that's not living. That's leaking. The truth is this: if you don't build your inner fortress, the world will break in and build it for you, brick by brick, using distraction, fear, doubt, and dependency. That's how you become reactive instead of reflective. That's how you get played. But here's what separates the Stoic from the scattered, the focused from the fractured: self-focus. Because self-focus is the construction crew of the inner fortress. It's how you dig the foundation, how you reinforce the walls, how you decide what and who is allowed into your mental space. Every time you say no to a distraction, you're laying a brick. Every time you resist the urge to react emotionally, you're sealing a crack. Every time you sit with your own mind in silence and listen instead of escape, you're strengthening the foundation. This isn't just discipline, it's defense, it's strategy. And here's the thing: most people never get taught this. No one pulls you aside in school or at work and says, "Hey, your focus is your fortress. Protect it like your life depends on it." But it does, because everything flows from your mind. Your decisions, your habits, your relationships, your peace. If your mind is weak, your life will reflect it. But if your mind is fortified, nothing, and I mean nothing, can move you without your permission. The Stoics knew this. They didn't just talk about it, they lived it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, dealt with war, betrayal, and loss, yet he never once outsourced his peace. Why? Because his fortress was internal. He wrote daily to remind himself that the only thing truly his was his mind. The outer world was unpredictable, but his response, his focus, that was his weapon. That was his edge. Now, fast forward to today. Our empires are digital, our wars are psychological, and the enemy isn't just outside us, it's inside. Doubt, fear, impulse, ego, they all live within the walls if we let them. And without focus, those enemies grow louder. They take up space. They become squatters in your mind. This is where self-focus becomes the key. When you start choosing what you allow into your mental space, you take control. You begin to lead yourself. And when you lead yourself, the world can't lead you off course. Following distractions disguised as opportunities, you stop reacting to things that have nothing to do with your mission. You don't get pulled into every argument, every trend, every emotional high and low, because your mind isn't a hotel for chaos. It's a fortress for clarity. But here's the hard truth. Building the inner fortress takes work. It's daily. It's uncomfortable. You'll have to face parts of yourself you've been avoiding. You'll have to stop blaming the world and start checking your own walls. You'll have to choose silence when everyone else is talking. You'll have to stay still when your mind wants to run. But that's the price of freedom. And make no mistake, mental freedom is the ultimate power. Because once your inner world is solid, the outer world loses its grip. You'll notice people trying to trigger you and failing. You'll notice distractions trying to tempt you and getting ignored. You'll notice pressure rising and you staying calm, not because you don't feel things, but because your feelings don't run you. That's stoic. That's powerful. That's rare. Now let's talk about a deeper layer. Your emotional gatekeepers. These are the mental guards you train through awareness and repetition. Every time a negative thought shows up, they don't panic. They evaluate. Is this useful? Is this true? Does this serve me or sabotage me? And if the answer is no, it doesn't get in. That's how you stop self-sabotage before it starts. You become intentional with every mental input and ruthless about what you allow to take root. Your inner fortress doesn't mean you don't engage with the world. It means you engage with strength, not weakness. You're not avoiding life. You're mastering it. And when life hits hard, you don't crumble. You adapt. You shift. You endure. That's the difference between those who survive and those who lead. You don't build this in a week. You don't build it by reading quotes. You build it by showing up daily, meditating, journaling, guarding your time, saying no more than yes, challenging your thoughts, and protecting your peace like it's sacred. Because it is. So ask yourself right now, are you building your inner fortress? Or are you leaving your gates wide open? Are you reacting to every knock at the door? Or are you standing at the top of the wall, watching with awareness, deciding what gets in and what stays out? Because once you realize your peace, your focus, your mind, they are all your responsibility, you stop waiting to be saved. You become your own protector, your own guide, your own commander. And when that happens, you don't just survive this world, you master it. If you're building your fortress right now, brick by brick, thought by thought, drop a comment below. I am my safe place. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you're claiming your ground. And remember, a focused mind is an armed mind, and a mind that's armed cannot be controlled. Number 8, daily practices to sharpen your focus. All right, we've broken down the mindset, the philosophy, the why, but now it's time for the how. Because ideas are nothing without execution. Self-focus doesn't just show up one day. It's trained, sharpened, and rewired into your system day by day. The good news? You don't need 100 habits. You need a few that hit hard, done consistently. So let's talk tactics, daily practices that actually move the needle. Start your day in silence. Before you touch your phone, before you speak to anyone, give yourself space to just be. 10 minutes. Sit with your thoughts. Breathe. Let your brain warm up without feeding it noise. Most people wake up and instantly hand their focus to the world. You're not most people. Practice thought auditing. Throughout the day, catch your thoughts like a mental security guard. When your mind starts drifting into anxiety, comparison, or distraction, stop and ask, is this useful? Is this mine? If not, delete it. Train your brain to think on purpose, not by accident. Block time for deep work. Pick a 60 to 90-minute window every day. No distractions, no multitasking, just one mission. This is how you train high focus, not by doing more, but by doing what matters better. Quality over quantity, precision over chaos. Journal like a strategist. Don't just write your feelings. Write your patterns, your reactions, what triggered you, and what you did about it. Stoics use journaling as a mirror, not for venting, but for evolution. 5 minutes a night will teach you more about your mind than 5 hours of scrolling. Embrace boredom, do nothing intentionally. Go for a walk with no phone. Sit in a room with no distractions. Let your brain detox. Most people panic when they're bored because they've trained themselves to be overstimulated. But boredom is the gateway to clarity, to creativity, to control. Bonus practice: curate your inputs. Protect your feed, your conversations, your media. If it drains you, cuts your focus, or fills your head with noise, cut it out. Your focus is currency. Don't spend it on garbage. These aren't random tips. They're mental reps. Each one strengthens the fortress. Each one puts you back in control. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up, locked in, intentional, and dangerous in your focus. And listen, if you've made it this far, you're not casual about your mind. You're serious. You're building. You're leading. So let's solidify that in the comments. Drop, I train my focus daily. If you're committed to these practices, say it like you own it. Because once you turn this into a lifestyle, distractions lose their grip. The world gets quieter, and your mind gets sharper, deadlier, unstoppable. Number 9, final empowerment. Self-focus is a superpower. Not because it looks cool, but because it works. It clears the noise. It sharpens your vision. It gives you back the one thing the world is trying to steal, your mind. And once you master your mind, you don't just survive life, you command it. Remember this: the world will always try to pull you outward, but the power, it's inward. It's in the silence. It's in the stillness. It's in the discipline of choosing yourself every single day. You don't need more motivation. You need more focus. And you've got it now. So if this message hit home, if you felt something shift, comment. My mind is my weapon. Say it like you're claiming the next level of yourself. And hey, if you're building that inner fortress and walking the Stoic path with intention, then this channel is for you. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a drop of this mental armor. You're not here to fit in. You're here to lock in. Stay focused. Stay dangerous. This is Stoic, buddy, and we're just getting started.